What's up, guys? It's Ricky, and on this particular episode, I wanted to talk about two particular supposed or so-called spiritual fathers that I met. I don't regard that doctrine. You can check the channel. I've talked about it. I'm going to talk about two who I encountered. I might not go into full detail with all the stories, but I'm going to define how these individuals, their work, they might have thought they were defending themselves, but what they were doing was very destructive, and it shows you that church hurt might not be even something that big. So I'm talking about a personal story. This is something that happened to me. Now, if you are the person I'm talking about, don't call me. Yeah, sometimes you must be clear. You just happen to be a person in my story. Yeah, it's just that. That's just what it is. And so I'm not going to mention their name. It's not necessary. I feel like they did what they did because they were in false doctrine. They believed falsely. And so they handled the matter how they handled it. The first one happens around 2010-12. Okay? The second one happens around 2019. Now, by 2019, I already didn't believe in spiritual father, what. But I'll give you the breakdown of that one later on. And so, the first one, what was the first one, and what did he do, which was hurtful, and it can destroy someone's faith. Stuff that these people do out there. Please think about what you are doing. And so, the first one happened in 2010, 11, 12. So 2009, I get born again. I start serving in the church. There is this Bible classes, and one of the teachers branches out. When he branches out, he's starting a college, and he's one of the teachers that I wanted to go to his classes, actually. So we branch, and he branches out as a college to teach Bible and theology and all that. Now, when we are there, it becomes clear that the other church we came from, or the main church, didn't want the college, except if the college was going to be under them. You know, it's kind of issues with power and whatnot. So that was not going to happen. He was not having this thing. He felt this was his thing. And so he ended up just cutting ties with that church, and it ended up a church also. So just wanted to explain that so that you can understand what happens and how it affects the next events. So we are in these classes, I think, for about a year to a year and a half, and we had advanced after a while. And then the previous class, or new people that came in, they took on the previous class, and we were now in the next class. And this was kind of like, now you are now learning theology. It's kind of like where it comes clear. So in that tone of now we are learning theology, he starts teaching things that feel like they're deep or sound like they're deep. But some of these things, that's where for me it became heretical, personally. Now, personally, because of what I had read in the Bible. Simple as that. You know, you can't teach me the Bible, then you want me to discard the Bible. Something is wrong with you. So he starts teaching that there is a space in which you grow spiritually to a place where you don't need Jesus. That was the teaching. And in a few days or so, I started talking to class members. I wasn't talking to church members in general, no. I was talking to class members, people that were in a class. A few people here and there are like, how do you feel about this teaching? This teaching doesn't sound, it's not sound. It doesn't sound like something Bible. And some of them, they didn't have anything to say. And sometimes that's where EPMP comes from. That's where a person who's go and tell on you comes from. People that, hey, I don't know, I don't know. Beware. And so a lot of people were saying that. And then I think a week after, that's when it hits back to the pastor. So the pastor starts saying things in classes and stuff like that. I remember one of the classes said like twice. On one of the classes, the pastor just says, there's a place in which your growth, your spiritual growth or your ranking tells you can question certain things. And there are certain places where your growth tells you can't question that other. See, I think he used the whole situation of Moses with God and then Moses with Aaron and Miriam. And he said, question Moses, you get leprosy. And then you question God, you die. You see, that kind of a situation was questioning things. They were speaking about things like that. To say the ranking is different. Okay? And so, while he said this, he said that shows you that ranking-wise, you can't, there's things that you just can't question. And so, as a result of his thinking this, he felt that I shouldn't have questioned. But he didn't say it in that class. He just hinted at it. And he said, yeah, there are certain rankings, you can't question certain things. And when he said it, I could feel that, that was directed to me. But it would take a few days when we come to the next class that he would hit back at that thing. And this time, he doesn't hide it. He says, yeah, like last time I said, there are rankings in spiritual growth, and these rankings tell you what you engage with, what you can interact with, and what you can question. And then he turns and he says, hey, Ricky. So it goes back to me questioning his teaching about saying that there are places where you can eat Jesus, you don't need Jesus. So he says, yeah, there are certain things you might not understand. While you are questioning them, thinking you understand, there are certain things you might not understand because growth-wise, you are not there at that level. And basically, it was very belittling, basically. It was just belittling. And because I talked to a few people, and because he called me out, even people that didn't know, they suspected, or how? Why does he call him? And then they asked around after, they were like, oh, okay. So now everybody knew what it was. So when he said it the second time, okay, so there was a few other things. I think there was a prayer meeting on Wednesday, and then there was this other class. On this class, when he then called it out, and I was like, hey, this is going to get dangerous. And I remember saying to one lady who was with me by that time, and she was like, are you okay? Is it okay? I know what you were questioning, these things. And now it seems like it got to him and he's not happy with them. So I was like, no, it's all good. I think he handled it how he handled it. But I don't think I'm going to come back. So, because why? Church hurt. Because if you keep going there, you understand, you can already see the other person is already being, they just want attack mode, they're on attack mode. So if you keep going there, you hurt yourself. So personally, I was like, nah, not going there. I'll find another church. So I stayed at home in that period, and until I ended up visiting my mom's church, and then the prophecy, if you know that story. So that's where that story comes out, the story about the prophecies. After I've left that church, and then I visit my mom's church, and then there's a prophecy, what you're going to do? Going to be different. And hey, we are here. And so that was the first one. But his issue was ego, because there was teaching that he taught which is not biblical. I mean, like you can't substantiate that with the Bible. You can't back that up with the Bible. But he was too proud to admit that. The second one